She doesn't hate you, brother. She resents your weakness.
We're going live.
We'll do it live.
You're listening to the premier podcast for men who want to not only be better with women, but want to be better men in general. This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host, Paul Bauer.
Oh, man, I forgot to do it again. Got to start going live on the TikToks. Hold on one second. Oh, I got this like thing here that holds my phone up. I really wish StreamYard could just go directly to TikTok. It can do it to Instagram, but it sucks. Like the interface sucks because you have to have Instagram like open on your computer in the background, and it just really causes a lot of lag. So I don't want to do that. Plus, I think I got in trouble a while ago with Instagram, and so I don't think I'm allowed to even go live on Instagram. But I never do anyway, so it's not a big deal. Guys, it's Monday. Let's friggin' go, baby. My workbook got approved by Amazon over the weekend. I'm so excited. This is going to help a lot of men out there. It's a companion to my latest book that I can't say the name of before the 8-minute mark. The Get Her to F You Again, right? A red pill guide to fix a dead bedroom, which is available. Link in my bio for you TikTokers. But I made a companion workbook. It got approved Saturday. So if you get the book, get the workbook to go with it. You can listen to this book on Audible and then do the workbook. It's like it has daily exercises and weekly challenges for you to do that'll help turn things around in your marriage. Guys, I'll drop a link to that in the chat here. Let me do that real quick here before I get too far into this. People that tune in when they're like, God, get to the point, bro. Get to the point, man. I will. Have patience, my brother. Have patience. Oh, shit. I didn't want that one. Oh, man. And I said a bad word before the 8-minute mark. Guys, send super chats. Okay. Here's a link to the workbook. Drop that in the chat there. We'll get to the rest of this here in just a second. Guys, if you are new to the channel, my name is Paul Bauer. I help men level up and get better with women. And the funny thing about doing that is that it makes us better men in all areas of our lives. Did you hear that men today are stuck in invisible chains, taught to be gentle, compliant, agreeable, and worst of all, safe? But the paradox, that's exactly what makes women pull away. Weakness repels. And she feels it, even if you hide it. It starts young. You're told to sit still, be polite, never make waves. You're punished for confidence. You become the nice guy, always available, always agreeable, and still rejected. You chase affection, but lose attraction. You're told this is maturity, but it's emasculation. Today, we're going to uncover exactly how you were trained to be weak, why women can feel it in her bones, and how to break free from the invisible script that is killing your power. So stick around until the end, because by the end of this episode, you'll see why reclaiming your strength is the only way to save yourself and possibly your relationship. And speaking of which, I just finished recording the audiobook from my friend RP Thor's new book, The Superhero Inside. It's a part of the Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence series. So if you do a search on Amazon for the Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence, you'll find Thor's new book there, The Superhero Inside. I just finished the audio version, and Glenn Lawrence and Thor uploaded it yesterday to Amazon. So that should take about 10 business days to get approved. And then you'll be able to listen to that on audio and listen to the sweet, sweet sounds of my voice reading that audiobook. Thor didn't pay me for that. He offered to pay me for it. I said, no, man, just let me do this for you. Thor, if you guys didn't know, is fighting brain cancer right now. And he can't do all the stuff that he would normally do. He would normally narrate his own book, but he just can't do it. So I'm like, dude, just let me do this for you, man. Just let me handle it, bro. So anyways, that should be coming out soon, but you can get the Kindle edition of his book right now. All right, guys, before we get too far into this, do be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday without fail. on the YouTube. Guys, if you're watching right now on TikTok, smash the screen like 20 times and then head on over to my YouTube channel. The link's in the bio. And then guys, sound off in the chat, okay? I want to hear from you. I can bring your comments up on the screen. If you guys have questions, though, do consider sending that as a super chat because that helps support the show probably more than anything else. All right, guys, let's talk about the origins of your conditioning, all right? Really good book on this type of subject is No More Mr. Nice Guy by Dr. Robert Glover. Highly recommend it. But listen, society taught you to be useful, not powerful. And like I said, Thor's book, The Superhero Inside, really goes into depth on this, right? You're taught, they teach you in schools to be a cog in the machine. They teach you to go out, work for someone else until you die. And that's your life. And most people do that, right? They tiptoe through life hoping they make it safely to death. They go to work every day. They come home. They drink a 6-pack of beer. They go to sleep, rinse, wash, repeat. They never do anything great. They never do anything of purpose. Most men just wander through life with no purpose, right? And sometimes guys will associate what they do for a living as their purpose, but they hate their job, right? If you hate what you're doing, that's not your purpose. You understand? That's a means to an end that pays the bills. I was just a guest on Nikki Ballou's podcast, The Sovereign Man. And we were talking about that. And I was telling him about a friend of mine years ago who I worked with. He was a desktop technician, probably one of the most gifted desktop technicians I ever met in my life. And this guy, when you asked him what he did for a living, he didn't say, oh, I'm a desktop technician. He would say, I'm a drummer in a band. I'm a musician. Because that was his purpose. That was his passion in life. And then I said, you don't tell people that you work in IT, that you're a desktop tech? He goes, oh, hell no, man. He goes, no, this is just a job. This pays the bills. He's like, what I do is I'm a musician. And I was like, it didn't really click with me until years later when I started learning about the whole concept of having a purpose in life, right? But society doesn't want men to walk around and have a purpose-driven life. They want men to work in the machine. That's what our whole education system is designed for, right? Masculinity has been branded as toxic. Just a couple of years ago, the APA, right, the American Psychological Association, listed masculinity as a mental disorder. It's a mental disorder. That's what we're taught now. You see commercials like Gillette from several years ago talking about how everything that men do is wrong, how when boys are like wrestling around in the backyard, that it's toxic masculinity. And they tell us that it's bad, but that's our inherent nature as men. And so when you're a little boy and you're doing what naturally comes to you, and they tell you it's wrong and you're wrong for doing it, act more like a girl, how do you think that messes with men's minds, right? As they grow up into manhood, and then they're weak, they're submissive, they're soft, they have no backbone, they have no assertiveness, and they're told to be nice guys and to be people pleasers. And then women wonder when they get into their 30s and they're ready to settle down and stop banging all the chads. Where are all the good men at? You know, it's like you ruined everybody. Society has ruined you. They have taught you to be weak. Schools punish assertiveness in boys, right? If a boy is acting like a boy and being assertive and whatever he's doing, he's told that he's got ADHD. he's given drugs to calm him down. If he's a little overexcited and, you know, like he's given drugs to chill him out so that he's a good boy in class and doesn't rock the boat. You see where I'm going with this? Emotional vulnerability was sold as connection, right? Was it Brene Brown talks about how vulnerability is strength. Even, and I hate to say this because he's one of my mentors, but even Corey Wayne in How to Be a 3% Man has a whole section on how vulnerability is strength and how to be more vulnerable. Vulnerability is literally, if you get a thesaurus, it means leave yourself open for attack. That's what being vulnerable means, okay? That's not to say that you can't be intimate in your relationships, but being vulnerable is not a good thing. Okay. It means leaving yourself open for attack. Okay. So what happens is guys are told, hey, be more vulnerable with your girl, right? Your girl even says it. Hey, I want you to open up, be more vulnerable with me. It's a part of the betatization process, which if you guys haven't gotten on the email list yet, no, that's not the right thing. If you haven't gotten on the email list yet, go to list.comeonmanpod.com and get the ebook, She's Made You Weak. It talks about that. It's like the second phase in the 5-step process that causes attraction to erode. But women will try to get you to open up and be more vulnerable. And then what do they do with it? What do they do with it? Do they fall in love? And, oh, I'm so more in love with you now that you open up. No, they turn around and use it against you. Oh man, I caught a couple of minutes of Rollo Tomasi's live stream on Sunday, yesterday. And his opening thing, he always opens with like TikTok clips and stuff like that. And he showed a clip. It was actually pretty profound. It was a guy who was crying, right? He was crying because he was reminiscing about something. It was something like he had a spool that had all sorts of wire on it, right? And I don't know, I can't remember the backstory, but it was something like he finally used up all the wire on the spool and it took him 40 years to do it, right? And so all of a sudden he was just had this profound like realization that, oh my God, the spool is empty. And it represented 40 years of his life, right? And he's like, oh my God, 40 years of my life is gone. Like all this wire is gone. And right, he was emotional about it. And his wife's recording him and she's like, why are you crying? And he's like, oh, this is why. And he's trying to share, he's trying to be vulnerable, sharing like why this is such a profound impact on him and why he's crying and stuff. And she fucking makes fun of him for it. She goes, oh, I thought it was because you were wearing your Red Sox hat or some shit. And he was like, what? No, like this represents 40 years of my life. It's gone now. And stuff. And she didn't give a shit. Right? Because women's solipsism won't let them care about your problems, right? They don't care why. And when you open up and be vulnerable, they don't give a fuck because they're filtering it through their lens and how it makes them feel in the moment. And then they use it against you, right? It's a trap. It's not a good thing, okay? Ends up becoming emasculation. They turn around, use it against you, and emasculate you for being a little bitch, right? The good boy programming, right? Pleasing authority, avoiding offense. One of the things that happens with guys, and you learn about this in No More Mr. Nice Guy, but a lot of boys are raised without a masculine influence for various reasons, right? There's a lot of divorce rates where there's a lot of single mother households now. It's in a lot of people, like the society will paint the picture that it's all deadbeat dads. These deadbeat dads don't want anything to do with their kids. Sure, there's some of that going on for sure, right? But have you ever been through the divorce grinder? It's not necessarily that there's deadbeat dads. It's that moms get resentful for their ex-husbands and want to keep their kids away from their husbands. And then you have to go through this whole fucking process of, child custody battles and stuff like that. Brother Nathan in Beer Club. I don't know if he's in the chat right now. I'm not looking at the chat, but Brother Nathan in Beer Club just recently went through the second bout of one of the most horrendous custody battles I've ever seen in my life. Right. I've talked about that plenty on the podcast, so I'm not going to get into it today, but the point is men aren't raising boys anymore to be men. They're not even in the household half the time because we have all these single mother households. And even if dad is in the house, he's working all the time, right? And moms are working now too. So what happens? Boys are in daycare or they're in school, and daycares and schools are ran by like 99% women. Right? So boys only have feminine influence, and women's emotions are like the weather. And that includes your teachers, your moms, your daycare providers, right? Their emotions are like the weather. And so what boys end up learning is not rules and discipline, which they get from men, because men make it pretty easy on boys. We're like, hey, look, these are the rules. If you cross the line, you're going to get in trouble. If you don't cross the line, you're going to be okay. Like when my kids were small, I gave them 3 rules, right? And they had them in their bedroom. And if they ever got in trouble, I would say, go in your bedroom and tell me which rule you broke, right? And one of it, they were, if I can remember now, it's been so long. My kids are really good kids, right? But it was do what I tell you to do the first time, think before you act, and be a good listener, right? Those 3 rules. If you did those things, you were going to be okay, and I wasn't going to get mad at you. And so the kids knew, as long as I do this, I'm going to be cool. When it comes to mothers and women in general, right? Like it could be your teachers or whatever. When it comes to women, they have rules and they will apply them if it feels good. But if they're just not feeling it, they'll let things slide. So there's never any true boundaries that kids, have to have rules to work within. And so what they end up learning is, what's mom's mood feel like, right? What's the teacher's mood feel like? What's the babysitter's mood feel like in the moment? And let me just try to make her happy, right? And so you get this generation of people pleasers. And then when they get into the relationship, they walk on eggshells around their wife going, oh, I can't possibly upset her. Happy wife, happy life, right? And you're trained to be a pussy, okay? Some early signs that you were losing your edge: slouching. If you don't have confident shoulders back body language, you're losing your edge, or you've already lost it, right? If you're always hesitating to do stuff, if you're afraid to make decisions, that's a good sign, okay? Apologizing for no reason. I did a whole episode last year on stop apologizing. Okay, go back in the archives and read that. In fact, the clips went pretty viral on social media because people got so upset when I said stop apologizing for shit. And one of the things I said is that we're so programmed to apologize stuff that we don't need to apologize for, that we apologize when someone dies, right? When someone's family members die. We're like, oh, sorry for your loss. Why are you apologizing for that? Like, you didn't kill that person. Okay. So I purposefully don't say that. I'll say my condolences, just to get out of the habit of apologizing for shit I don't need to apologize for. And people like lost their mind when I said that. But it's true. It's a good habit. And you know what happened? My dog died. My dog died in January. And you know what a lot of my Beer Club brothers said? My condolences. And I was proud of those fuckers. I was proud of all those bastards for that. Let's see here. Deep subconscious effect this has on attraction dynamics. Yeah, a lot of this is a part of your paradigm, right? You get programmed this stuff early on in age. And I've done lots of episodes on paradigms. I have a whole book on paradigms. It's called Psychology Paradigm. It's a part of the Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence series. Link in the bio. And the thing is, like, we're raised from a young age. And when you're a little kid, you're basically a walking subconscious mind. You're walking around, and everything in your environment, it just goes right into your subconscious and becomes your paradigm. And your paradigm is just a series of habits that you do without any conscious thought, right? It's subconscious. And those subconscious paradigms cause your actions in life, and those actions cause reactions, and those reactions create your results in life, right? So you're raised from a young age to be weak, to be a people pleaser, to be a good boy, all the nice guy habits that ruin relationships and give women the ick, right? Those are programmed into you from a young age. And then that is how you interact with the world. And then people look at you like you're weak. They walk all over you. You don't have any assertiveness. You don't know how to set boundaries, all that kind of stuff, right? So in order to fix that, you have to change that programming. And the funny thing is, you'll see people online when I post videos like this, they get mad and they're like, oh, this guy's full of shit. Because their paradigm, what I'm saying, goes against their paradigm. Right? Their paradigm says, be a nice guy, be a good guy, be a people pleaser, happy wife, happy life. My wife is my best friend. I'm looking for my soulmate. All that kind of shit, right? And then like they put these women on pedestals, and then the women are like, I don't know why I'm with this guy. I don't know why I'm with this guy. I think I settled, right? But that's because it's deep in your programming. You think that's how it's supposed to be. And then you have, oh man, there's that documentary that people keep talking about on Netflix. I haven't seen it yet, but they really are harping on the manosphere and how it's causing people to shoot up schools and whatever. It's like, no, the absence of this information is causing people to go and shoot up schools. Okay. This information tells boys, hey, it's not your fault. You were programmed wrong. Okay. This is what's more effective. If you apply this, you're going to have better results in life, and you don't have to go shoot up schools. You don't have to unalive yourself. Right. If this space didn't exist to tell men that their programming was wrong and you need to change it, there would be even more of those types of events. Okay. This space saves lives. All right. Think about this for a minute. They didn't have to teach you to be soft, though. They didn't have to. They just punished you every time you weren't soft. Right? It was operant conditioning. That's what got you there. Chew on that for a little bit, guys. And while you're doing that, follow me on social media. The links are in the description. I'm on all the good platforms. I'm on TikTok right now. What's up, TikTok? Head on over to my YouTube channel. We're live over on YouTube right now. You can actually sound off in the chat, and I can bring your comments up on the screen here. The link's in the bio for my YouTube channel. But do that, and then get on the email list.comeonmanpod.com, and get the free ebook, She's Made You Weak. It talks about the betatization process and why women lose attraction for you over time and what you can do to prevent that. And then if you guys really found yourself in the situation where you're deep in the betatization process and you don't know how to turn that around, get my latest book, Get Her to Fuck You Again, which is available on Amazon and Audible. Go to books.comeonmanpod.com for that. And also check out the companion workbook that goes with it. And those two things combined together, lethal combination, baby. Lethal combination. Let me play a commercial for that, and then we'll get back to the topic at hand.
Are you tired of the dead bedroom? Wondering what happened to the passion, the connection, and the spark? Well, here's your answer. Introducing Get Her to Fuck You Again, a red pill guide to fix a dead bedroom, now on Amazon. This isn't about manipulation or tricks. It's about real strategies that work. If your wife has stopped being intimate with you, it's not because the love is gone. It's because the attraction is gone. And that's fixable. This book will teach you the skills to lead your marriage, rebuild your confidence, and become the man she can't stop thinking about. 3 reasons to get this book. 1. It breaks the cycle. You'll learn how to stop doing the same things that are killing her attraction and start doing the things that reignite it. 2. It's practical and proven. With clear, actionable steps, you'll build yourself into the man you were always meant to be. 3. It works for men like you. Paul Bauer has helped hundreds of men just like you fix their dead bedrooms. And now, it's your turn. Don't let another day go by feeling frustrated and disconnected. Go to Amazon right now and buy Get Her to Fuck You Again. Read it, apply it, and watch your marriage transform. The connection isn't gone forever. You just need the roadmap to get it back. And this book is it.
Okay, there you go. Fuck off, Melanie. All right, Melanie's in the chat, and she doesn't like my content. Well, there's the door. All right, what's the chat saying? Oh man, we got a whole bunch of people in here. Oh, we got some super chats. Nurse Chick's in the house. Nurse Chick says, "Good morning, gentlemen."
You're so naughty.
She is.
I'm gonna come.
You know it. Let's see here. Oh, hey, brother David's in the house. Good morning, everyone. Even you, Paul. Thanks, man. I ordered your workbook this weekend. Oh, cool. Yeah, let me know what you think about it. And then, guys, David has lost so much weight. David, I talk about David a lot on the podcast. I'm so proud of this guy, right? He's lost so much weight that he basically cured himself of type 2 diabetes, but he just said last week at the Beer Club Hangout that he's now off all of his medications. He was on some statin drugs and everything for cholesterol. He's cured himself of high cholesterol. Dude's a fucking machine, man. I'm so proud of that guy. Oh, and then he sent a $10 super chat. That's why I'm fluffing him, because he sent $10. But he says, Amazon confirmed your workbook shipped already. Oh, good. Oh, that was fast. That was fast. That's awesome. I'm going to give it. So he sent $10. I'm going to bump him up to the $20 super chat because he's a Beer Club brother.
Super chat, we see you there. Shake it, dance without a care. Send it love from everywhere. Groovy beats we all can share. Your support is so divine. Moving closer to the line. Thank you, you're the best. Party on, we never rest.
Thanks to Brother Jeff from Beer Club for all those clips. Brother Jeff's a dirty birdie. He likes to follow all those like Instagram 304s, and then he sends me the videos, and I'm like, let me compile this together into a super chat video. Dar Fitness says masculinity is toxic unless situations occur when you need masculine traits, fires, wars, etc. Yeah, of course, right? David says, I say toxic masculinity is a made-up word. I agree. Hey, Charles in the house. Good morning. Skol, brother. And let's see here. Chad Elkins, CPA. If you guys need a good accountant, hit up my man Chad. Says, this is good advice for running a business too. I fell into this trap years ago. Yeah, a lot of us did, man. A lot of us did. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, David says, down 205 pounds, only 20 to go until 160. Dude, you're a fucking machine, man. You're on your 14-day fast right now, aren't you? How are you feeling? How are you feeling with that? All right, guys, let's get into the next topic, which is how weakness shows up in your relationships, okay? So have you ever found yourself asking for permission, right? Or if you don't ask for permission, you're at least asking for your wife's buy-in on stuff, you know? And I love, and it probably gets really old, but it just is the perfect picture because most people deal with this problem, right? But have you ever dealt with the dinner debate, right? Hey, honey, where do you want to go eat? Hey, honey, where do you want to go eat? And you're so frustrated. Why won't she make up her mind, right? That's because you're basically asking for her to make those decisions, right? You're asking for her buy-in. Or if you do come up with a place, a lot of guys are like, oh, I like to give my wife 2 or 3 places to choose from, right? Right. Because you're still leaving the decision up to her. You're like, hey, honey, what are you thinking? I'm thinking pizza. I'm thinking steak tonight. What do you want to do, honey? Right? You're asking for her permission, right? You're asking for her buy-in. You're asking for her to make the decision. She doesn't fucking want to make the decision, okay? She wants to show up looking hot, and she wants you to make the plans. If you stop doing that, stop trying to get her buy-in on stuff and just make a plan, you'll find that 99.99% of the time, she's just going to go, okay, cool. Yeah, that sounds good. You know what I mean? But everyone's doing that. They're trying to, hey, honey, is this okay? Hey, honey, is it okay if I do this? You ask your guy friends, hey, man, you want to hang out this weekend? Oh, I got to go ask the wife if it's okay. Oh, I got to go ask the wife, right? You're asking for permission to do stuff instead of making your own fucking plans and setting your own, path in life. It kills attraction over time. Because you're putting her in the leadership role of the relationship. You're making her the man. She has to be, go into her masculine energy to start making these decisions, to make these plans. And eventually she starts resenting you for it because she's like, God, I really wish that he would just make the plans, right? Over apologizing, over explaining, right? We call this deering. Like your wife's mad about something. And so what she comes to you, she complains to you about something. What do? You defend yourself or you give her an explanation. Well, I just did that because, right? Well, I only did that to do this, right? Well, there's a reason why I did it, honey. It was because that makes you look weak. It basically puts her as the judge of your actions. And then now you're trying to justify why you're doing what you do to her. And that puts her at a one above position from you, which is using hypergamy against you, right? Women's hypergamous nature says that they basically want a guy that they look up to. They want a guy that they can enter his world and follow his lead, right? And that makes them feel safe and secure in the relationship when they can be fully in their feminine energy and follow your masculine lead. But if you're defending yourself, excusing yourself, now you look weak to her. And she doesn't know why. Like most of these women, because they're all raised with the same blue pill conditioning that you are, right? So they don't know why they have the ick around you and why they think you're a weak, spineless pussy. But they just are like, God, when I come to him with this stuff, like he immediately starts, groveling to me, trying to get me to be like, okay, honey, yeah, okay, my bad. I didn't mean to criticize you for whatever, because you explained it well. You can never explain it well enough because she's not hearing the words coming out of your mouth. She's only feeling the way you make her feel when you're groveling to her. Think about that for a minute, right? Another thing that you end up doing too is you, in order to make her happy, you start doing things in order to make her happy. It ends up being a covert contract. And then when she's still not happy, now you resent her for it because you did all these things for her. Hey, honey, I cleaned the gutters and you promised sex. Why don't I get the sex? I cleaned the gutters. I did the dishes for you. You said if I did the dishes more, you'd give me more sex. And you're not giving me more sex, and now I'm mad at you. That's what we call a covert contract, where you're doing something in order to get something, right? And I used to do this in a past relationship. I talk about red pill chick a lot. And anytime I bring this up on Rule Zero, I get fucking roasted for it. But for the entirety of that relationship, I would buy red pill chick flowers every month, right? And I would do it specifically to get those brownie points, to get on the good side of her, right? To try to, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm really, I got good game here. I'm buying her flowers all the time. They ended up being fucking meaningless at the end of the day. And I was only doing it in order to get something out of her. It was a total covert contract. It's fucking meaningless. I learned that there's no point in doing that. And the flowers ended up being meaningless, right? She didn't value the flowers. So you do all this kind of stuff, and she ends up not feeling safe in the relationship because you're so accommodating, because you're so available all the time, because you never set boundaries, because you don't pass her shit tests. She doesn't feel safe in the relationship. I was a guest on a podcast maybe a month or two ago. And I can't remember the name of it. I've been on a lot of podcasts lately. If you guys go on your favorite podcast platform and search for Paul Bauer, there's probably 100 interviews there now. But Paul, you're so popular. I know. Just ask me. I'll tell you. But anyway, one of the things that guy said was a really good, it painted a really good mental picture, right? But one of the things he said is when you're able to set boundaries in a relationship as the man, right? As like, if you're the one that's setting the tone and leading the relationship, if you're able to say no and set proper boundaries, it actually makes your wife feel more secure, because he's like, think of it like being in a cave and it's dark in there. You can't see anything. And as long as you can like feel the sides of the cave and feel your way around, you feel a little more secure in that situation, right? It's not the best situation, but you feel a little more secure because you can at least feel your way out. He goes, those are boundaries, right? The boundaries of the cave make you feel safe, right? That same thing goes, oh man, I got a violation warning. What the hell? Oh man, look at this. Who submitted a violation warning? Who reported this? How dare you guys? Oh man. Let's get some of these angry women out, because I'm not talking to you. Not talking to you guys, okay? This is for men, all right? I'm going to get banned from TikTok here, guys. But anyway, you're in a cave. The walls are boundaries, okay? Imagine you're walking around in a cave and you go to push on the cave walls and the cave walls cave in. You're not going to feel too safe in that cave, are you? Well, that's the same thing that happens when you can't set boundaries in the relationship. She doesn't feel safe in the relationship, right? If you're agreeable all the time, if you always do what she wants to do, she starts losing respect for you, right? If you agree with everything she wants, she's like, I don't get it. I don't know. I don't know why, but I don't like this guy. It's funny too. And women get mad when I say it, but I saw a video a couple years ago and I stitched it where it was a woman saying it. She was like, this is the number one reason why we don't like nice guys. And one of them was they're agreeable all the time. That was literally what she said. So I, of course, stitched the video because I get a lot of hate from women that are like, oh, this guy's spreading toxic masculinity. I'm like, okay, well, here's a woman saying it. Do you feel better now? Do you feel better? I know you don't like what I'm saying because you don't like my tone, right? You're not even listening to the words I'm saying. You don't like how I'm saying it. You don't like how it feels because of the way I'm saying it. Well, here's a woman saying it. Do you feel better now? Anyway, emotional dumping disguised as vulnerability, right? A lot of guys are told, be more vulnerable, be more open. Women will say, hey, I want a guy who's emotionally available. And so guys hear this, nice guys hear this, and they go, okay, let me express my emotions more. Let me cry around her more. There was I was watching the clips on Rolo's show yesterday, and there was this guy who's really prominent in the blue pill space. And he was saying how men need to cry more. It feels good, you know? And the funny thing about that is masculinity is only celebrated when it looks like femininity, right? When you act like a woman, you're celebrated. And that's strong masculinity. That's being vulnerable. You're acting like a woman. And so then society celebrates that. So that societal conditioning gets reinforced in you. And then when you don't get the results you want in your relationships, you're like, I don't understand why I did everything I'm supposed to do, right? It's because women don't respond to that stuff. They say they want that stuff, but they don't respond to that stuff, right? And that's what we talk about on the podcast here, right? There's things that women say they want. There's things that they think they want, but there's things that they actually respond to. We care about what they respond to, right? So when you are too emotional, too vulnerable, they look at it as weakness and they turn around and use it against you, right? And then they're like, I don't know why. I don't know why this guy's trauma dumping on me right now. And women just don't care about your problems. They wait at the finish line. They bang the winners. That's why you save that kind of stuff for a good coach, a good therapist, for your guy friends. That's why I created Beer Club. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. That's why I created Beer Club. Beer Club is for guys to get together, talk about their shit, right? It's a safe space for you to talk about your stuff, right? It's really just for guys to connect with other guys. The thing is that guys tend to solve problems. We don't just whine about shit, right? Guys will whine about shit, but then the other guys in the group will be like, what are you fucking doing about it, bro? Right? Like, let's talk about this. Like, what are you doing? What kind of actions are you taking to get out of this? Because whining is not going to solve your problem, right? We're a little more direct in there, but you'll find that you crawl out of the hole that you end up being in, right? Women don't do that. When women say, I want you to be more emotionally available or emotionally vulnerable or emotionally intelligent, all those things, what it basically means is I'm going to be on an emotional roller coaster. I need you to keep your feet on the ground, but understand what I'm going through in the moment and have some empathy towards me, right? Understand what my emotions are doing. I don't want you to climb on this emotional roller coaster with me. I need you to be my rock in this moment, right? That's what that means. You trained her to see you as safe, but not sexy. So yeah, women want to feel safe, but they don't want you to act safe. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Thor's book says I'm not supposed to say, does that make sense? Yeah, I'm sitting there reading Thor's book, right? Doing the narration for it over the weekend. And there's a lot of that kind of stuff in there. I'm like, fuck, I do that. Fuck, I still do that. There's a lot of things that I still need to work on, you know? Why strength, not safety, makes her wet, right? Women respond to strength. That was one of the things that I learned from a really phenomenal book by a guy named Christopher Canwell called Atomic Attraction, right? Was that women respond to strength. That's why boundaries are effective in a relationship, because you're showing your masculine strength in the relationship, that she can't get her way with you. And she likes that. If you watch any kind of romantic comedy, if you watch any kind of, cheesy, woman love drama, you'll find that women love the scoundrel that they can't get their way with. And he makes her so infuriated. He won't do what she wants, but she fucking can't stop thinking about that guy. And then she falls in love with him. Right. Meanwhile, she's cheating on her existing boyfriend or fiance, who's a pushover, a weakling, and she's just not really attracted to him. She was settling for him because he was the safe option. But it's this scoundrel that she can't get her way with that she really wants. Right. All you have to do is pay attention to the formula of what women respond to, and then do those things. Even like women will stand on a soapbox and be like, that's not true. I don't bullshit. Right. It's funny. It's just, you guys got to stop listening to what women say and start watching what they do. I got a video coming out this afternoon talking about that, because I just saw one of my former acquaintances in the space, a female. She's really big. She's got like 1 million subscribers now, and she wears a lot of red. You guys know who I'm talking about. She used to have a red background all the time, and she was talking about she was talking about some of the dating advice that guys give out in the space, and she's like, "Oh, it's the dumbest thing I ever heard." Right? Like texting is for logistics. She wants to hear from you all the time. Don't listen to that shit. Don't listen to that shit. They don't respond to that. All right? We care about what they respond to, guys. For the love of God, get in Beer Club. Go to beer.comeonmanpod.com. It's a good group of dudes. We have about 50 guys in there. They're all in there swapping notes. They're all leveling up. They're all trying to get better, not just with women, but in life in general. Like I said, Brother David's in the chat right now. Brother David's lost so much fucking weight. He's curing himself from some really serious medical issues that he's been going through for years. And he finally got serious. He joined Beer Club and he goes, guys, I want you to hold me accountable. And now we were holding him accountable for a long time. Now we don't have to, because he's built it into a fucking habit that he just does. And then he reports back on our monthly calls, and he's just fucking killing it, right? Absolutely killing it. Completely turned his relationship around with his wife, following all the stuff that we talk about on the show, I talk about in my books and stuff like that. He's got the most healthy relationship he's ever had with his wife, even better now than when they first got married, because he's applying this information. Okay. It's no bullshit. Get in Beer Club. It's $10 a month. Okay. You'll spend less on Beer Club than you will on your coffee habit at Starbucks. All right. And then guys, if you get my book, okay, get my book, Get Her to Fuck You Again. All right. Get the workbook. Start doing the exercises, okay? But if you find that you're still not getting results, or that you just can't make yourself do the work and do the workbook every week, and you need professional help, book a free call with me, okay? Go to call.fixedadbedrooms.com. You don't have to do it alone if you don't want to. I know a lot of you guys are fucking lone wolves out there, and you want to do it alone. That's why I created the book. That's why I created the workbook, to give you an opportunity to do it yourself. 3% of you guys are going to get the book, get the workbook, and fucking absolutely turn your marriage around. And it's going to be the best relationship of your life. Okay. 3% of you will do that. Okay. Another 10% on top of that are going to buy the book and then not be able to apply it, or you're going to need someone to hold you accountable, and you're going to have questions and how do I apply this in my specific situation? That's when you'll want to book a call with me. Okay. That's when you're going to need one-on-one help, and I can walk you through it and show you how it applies to your specific situation. All right. And then the rest of you, might even buy the book. There's going to be like 20% of you guys that are going to buy the book and put it on your shelf and just feel better that you bought the book. And then the rest of you guys are just going to just wait and hope that something happens magically. Okay. It doesn't happen magically. You got to actually do something, whether you read the book and do it yourself or you work with me and I help you through it. Okay. You got to do something or you're never going to see results. All right. All right. Let's talk about how to break the programming and reclaim your masculine power. All right. What power really means: direction, action, frame. A lot of guys don't realize this, especially with your blue pill conditioning, your old way of thinking, the current way society has taught you about relationships, the Disney fairy tale type stuff. But relationships aren't a partnership. Okay. It's a power dynamic. Relationships are not a partnership. They are a power dynamic. Okay, repeat that. I'm going to say that one more time. Relationships are not a partnership. They are a power dynamic. Okay, you're not equal partners in the relationship. I invite you to stop looking at your wife or your girlfriend as your partner. She's not an equal partner. She doesn't even really want, at a deep subconscious paradigm level, primal level, she doesn't want to be an equal partner. She wants you to set the tone and lead the relationship, and she wants to follow your lead. Okay, that is what makes her feel safe and secure. She wants you to be assertive. She wants you to make decisions. She wants you to make plans. She wants you to take the bills and manage the finances. Okay, let her be a woman. But she works. She works. She's a boss babe. Yeah. Maybe. I mean, we do live in modern culture and modern society. We have boss women out there that are killing it in the workforce. God bless them. God bless them for it. Okay. But when they come back home, the last thing they want to do after making a million decisions all day is make more decisions at home. Okay. They want to hand the reins over, relax into their feminine and be a mom now, be a wife now. So you got to provide that framework for them. And that means having a more of a commanding officer, executive officer relationship with your wife. Okay. Where executive officer is still a leadership role. She's still a part of the management team in the household, right? You and her are managing the kids. Okay. But you're overall in charge of the mission of the family. Okay. She's there to support your mission. So that means that you make the decisions, you make executive orders. Okay. But if occasionally she's going to have good ideas, there's no reason not to take her ideas under advisement. Okay. But if it goes against your vision and your mission of the family, you tell her, no, we're not doing that. Okay. But if it's a good idea and it's better than your idea, there's no reason not to go with it. Okay. Not everything has to be a power struggle, but there is a power dynamic there. And if you want a healthy relationship, you have to set that up and you have to enforce it, right? You got to rebuild your core identity as a man. Okay. You're not an accessory to your wife. You're not just, you're just not a handbag to her. All right. You are the masculine leader of the family. So you got to start acting like it. Right. Most guys, they call her the boss, right? Oh, she's the boss. Have you ever seen women walking around Walmart and they got shirts on that says the boss, and it's because, goddamn good and well, her husband bought her that shit on like Mother's Day or something. And all those women are almost always overweight. Almost always over. Oh, and I'm going to get flagged on TikTok here. I'm really going to get flagged. I shouldn't say that. Lord, I apologize. I'm offending people. Oh man. Physical dominance and emotional control. Okay. This is about polarity, right? In order for there to be a healthy relationship, you have to have masculine and feminine polarity in the relationship. And the thing is, if you're leaving decisions up to her, you're letting her drive the ship, you're, relaxing and letting her do all the plans and stuff like that, she's now in her the masculine energy and she resents you for it. It's not natural to her. She doesn't like it. And then she's like, why isn't he doing any of this stuff? And you're the one relaxing and you're feminine, just leaving everything up to her. Okay. She's going to lose attraction for you if you allow that to happen, right? So you need to have a sense of physical dominance. You have to have a little bit of emotional control. That's a part of working on your frame, your mental frame, right? You can't let what she says rattle you. All that kind of stuff shows her that you are the captain of the ship, okay? But you've got to work on all those things in order to act that way, right? You can't demand that she follows your lead. You have to be a man that she's willing to follow, right? And that starts with leadership in your own life. Like, where have you fallen off the rails, right? How's your physical health going? Like, when was the last time you went to the gym? When was the last time you worked out? What's your diet look like? Right? Are you just eating pizza and drinking beer and not working out and just getting fatter? Okay. Once you take some initiative and start working on leadership in your own life, and in a good place to start is with your own physical health, right? Because a strong body converts to a strong mind. It develops discipline, right? That discipline, you know, it's a good habit to build because it'll carry over into all areas of your life. There's no more explaining your worth, right? You just got to start being someone worthwhile. That means you quietly start working on yourself. You quietly start working on your masculine frame, your fitness, right? Your game, money, muscles, game, and frame, right? So you start working on all those types of things. You take some initiative in that area of your life. I have here dread versus despair, being her man versus her emotional pet. The idea of dread game in this space is being a guy that stops being taken for granted, right? Most of you guys, the reason why you're at where you're at is because she takes you for granted. She doesn't respect you anymore. And you got to start turning that dynamic around, all right? And it starts with these types of areas, working on yourself, being a guy that she sees as valuable again, right? It's Breitfeld's law. Breitfeld's law basically says that if a woman doesn't find value in you, the relationship's not going to exist. She's going to find a guy that she finds value in. That's her hypergamous nature, right? So what does that mean for a relationship? It means that you can never stop being a guy of value. You always have to be a guy she wants to invest in. That means working on yourself, right? All you guys are trying to change your wife. You know, hey, she needs to like me for being more vulnerable. She needs to like me for being more soft. Her wiring won't let her. You understand? It's not even, she doesn't even have control over that, right? Attraction's not a choice. It's instinctual. And so if she's not attracted to you, she's not going to want to invest in you, right? So you start working on this stuff. You start being the kind of guy that she starts getting afraid. Oh crap. I might lose this guy. He's working at, you want to know why? Because what do women do when they're getting ready to leave a relationship and they've let themselves go all this time? And that now they need to attract someone better, but they can't. What do? They start working on themselves. They start going back to the gym, right? They start getting sexy again. They start dressing nicer again because they're advertising themselves now to the sexual marketplace. And then, oh, I don't know what happened. I just fell on this guy's dick one day at the office. I don't know. Right. And then she blames you for it, right? Well, you pushed me away. You didn't act, blah, 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 blah. It's never their fault. It's never their fault. Right. So dread, a lot of what we teach in the red pill space is taking women's sexual strategy and turning it to men's sensibilities. Right. So you start doing that kind of stuff. You start working on yourself. You start becoming more attractive. You don't actually have to go out and flirt with people, right? But you need to go out and be more social. And she needs to recognize, oh crap, I might lose this guy. You know, he's not being complacent anymore. He's actually being more attractive now. Fuck. Right? You want to create space, tension, and dominance, right? Space, tension, and dominance. See, here's the thing. Attraction grows in space and it dies in close proximity. Right? It's simple economics. It's supply and demand. If you're always available, you're an abundant resource and you're not seen as valuable anymore. But if you create scarcity, if you create space in your relationship, and it's not a bad thing, right? This is actually healthy, creates healthy emotional anticipation, emotional anticipation and tension, right? Heat, healthy emotional anticipation and tension. You create that space. It gives her a chance to wonder about you, to think about you, right? You go off and you spend some time with the boys. She spends some time with the girls, healthy girls. Like both of you guys need to spend time with people that are in other healthy relationships. It's not good to go spend time with your single Chad bros. It's not good for her to go spend time with her single hoe friends. It's not good, right? But if you guys spend some time apart, you guys develop healthy friend circles and stuff like that. That's actually good for the relationship. And then you guys can come back together and actually miss each other for a change. Like we're so available in the society now with text messages all the time and all that kind of stuff. Like stop that shit, right? Go back to the dating model where you keep texting for logistics. Like don't tell your girl a play-by-play of your life all day long. It's fucking unattractive behavior. You're always available. She starts taking that for granted. Take that shit away. Okay. Become a scarce resource again. She's going to start wondering about you. That builds heat. Let's see, lead the dynamic or lose it. So you have to be the leader of your relationship. Why fixing yourself will change the dynamic, even if she never does. So here's the thing. Here's the biggest harsh truth I can give you. Okay. You can do everything right. You can do everything right. And she might not come around. Right. I'm not going to lie to you about that. Right. 99% of the time she's going to get on board and come back around. But there's a small chance that she's so far gone or she's just doesn't care anymore. She's so mentally checked out that you're never going to do anything. Right. But working on yourself is never a bad investment. Working on yourself is never a bad investment because even if she doesn't get on board, you're going to find someone that appreciates it. Right. And the thing is that a lot of guys are just like, well, why don't I just dump her now and then work on myself later? I mean, that's an option. That's certainly an option. But the thing is that if you can save your marriage, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to? You put all this time and investment with this woman. You spent all this time. You guys have shared assets together. You have kids together. Why wouldn't you want to at least try to turn things around before dumping her? You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys online are like, oh, it's time to leave her. It's time to leave her. Right? It's like, okay, you could do that and then lose tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars in the court process. You split up your kids, you fuck up your family. It's 7 years of emotional trauma and therapy, right? For some people, some guys unalive themselves, right? When their relationship doesn't work out, they get so ego invested in the relationship, thinking that she's the soulmate, she's the one, and I lost her. They unalive themselves. Women almost never unalive themselves over that sort of thing. They actually move on very quick. It's part of the war bride syndrome. We could talk about that in another podcast. They move on much quicker than guys do mentally, and guys just can't move on, right? And so they end up unaliving themselves. You want to save yourself that heartache? Try to fix things first, okay? Try to turn things around. If you can run game on your wife, you can run a game on anybody, okay? She ends up becoming a good sparring partner during this event, right? It's just perfect practice. You have a practice dummy right there. Just start running game on her, work on this stuff, leveling up. And then the benefit of that is that you might actually save your marriage. It's quite a nice benefit actually. Okay. But if it doesn't work out, well, now you know exactly, you're already ahead of the game when you hit the ground running. And now you're ready to get into another relationship with someone that actually values the work that you put in. They will follow your lead. They will want to put investment in you. Okay. It's a win-win. You can't lose. Can't lose working on yourself. Okay. And then you need to set that new standard for yourself. Okay. She either levels up or she gets left behind. Right. You're going to work on yourself. You're going to give her some rope. You're going to give her a chance. You're going to start working on yourself, maybe even save your family. But eventually you got to have sit down and have a realization with yourself if she's not getting on board. Now, it's funny. I've been mentioning Brother David in the chat a lot, right? He's done all of this stuff. He's done all of this stuff. And at first, his wife wasn't getting on board. He was getting real frustrated. There was a lot of things that he was doing that he was doing all this work and he was getting mad that she wasn't doing it. The problem with that, which he's gotten over that. He's way past this part now, but this was like early on. The problem with that, what guys tend to do in the space when they start doing this stuff is they're doing all this stuff, hoping to fix her, hoping that she'll come back around. And that ends up being a covert contract, right? You are working on all this stuff in order to get her to do something. That is a covert contract. So a lot of guys' motivation when they first come to the space, when they first get the book, when they first want to work with me is that. But what you have to get past is that, and you have to say, no, I'm doing this for myself. I'm working on myself. I let myself slip. I'm working on being the best version of myself. And what you'll find is letting go of that attachment to outcome speeds up the process. And David figured that out. And his wife actually started losing weight with him. She started dieting with him. She's lost a whole bunch of weight since doing this. She started reading books to start figuring out how she could be a better wife because she saw all the work that he was putting in. But that was only after he stopped focusing on what she was doing and just worried about himself and his goals. Okay. That's where you need to get to be. That's the place you need to get to be. It's not always easy to get there. It's not always easy to get there. All right, guys. Just remember, you're not asking for permission anymore, okay? You're walking like a man who doesn't need permission anymore. That's where you want to get to be, okay? Now, if this hits you in the gut, if this episode hits you in the gut, it was supposed to. I want you guys to go out and lead in your life, in your mind, in your relationship. And if you want help doing that, I have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Tune into the podcast Wednesday. We're going to talk about the story of a man who is at a place of pure apathy in his marriage. His wife's complete lack of intimacy has just made him stop caring about everything, right? She's always booking weekend getaways and accidentally booking rooms with separate beds. And the man is just totally mentally checked out from all of it anymore, right? They're still best friends though, but he wishes they were best lovers. Does this sound familiar to any of you guys? Because if it is, you're not going to want to miss that episode. All right, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you for sounding off in the live chat. I appreciate you. Thanks for the super chats, guys. Let me see. Are there any more super chats? Oh, we have another super chat. $5 super chat from Cody Rogers. Bro, book was only half listened to, and next thing I knew, she told me I was right and that she's ready to work on the marriage. Fuck yeah. Beer Club's the next step. Get in there, brother. Get in there. Let me drop a link. Let me drop a link to the beer chat for you, man. Get in Beer Club by going here. beer.comeonmanpod.com. Stop waiting, Cody. Get in there, brother. Get in there. That's fucking awesome. I'd love to hear it. And I'm going to give you this since you're not currently in Beer Club.
Here he is, biggest swinging dick in the West.
Yeah, biggest swinging dick in the West. All right, guys. Where was I at? I was at Super Chats. Yes, thanks for the Super Chats. Follow me on social media. The links are in the description. Get on the email list, list.comeonmanpod.com. Get the ebook, She's Made You Weak. It's free. Some guys get confused by that. You just put $0 in there and hit buy now and it's free. Okay. Some people will send me $5, $10. Like, thank you. You don't have to do that. It's free though. Okay. Just get the ebook. I'll also mail you some free stickers too. Don't put a fake address in there. If you don't want the stickers, just put don't want stickers in there. That way I won't waste a stamp on you. I got a returned envelope this weekend. I'm like, fuck, dude. I say that every episode, right? Just put don't want stickers. It's fine. Get my books. All three of them are available on Amazon and Audible. Go to books.comeonmanpod.com. The first one, Everything I Wish I Knew When I Was 18. If you have teenagers getting ready to graduate from high school, that's really for them. right? That one is literally everything that I wish I knew when I was 18 about money, careers, law of attraction, fitness, and more, dating and relationships. The dating and relationships chapter is like the longest chapter in that book. And if you guys are out in the dating circuit right now, it'll help you with that. But man, I really wish I knew that when I was coming out of high school. Getting Beer Club, Cody's going to join, so you need to join too. And then if you guys want to work with me one-on-one, go to call.fixedadbedrooms.com. All right, guys, that's all I have. We will see you guys on Wednesday.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. New full episodes served hot every Monday morning on your favorite podcast platform of choice. So subscribe now. Follow Paul on social media. The links are in the description. Now, go out and get it.